There are two people texting Alex. The first one is Jamie. Jamie replies to messages. Jamie remembers important details. Jamie asks how Alex's day went, and then, this is disturbing, actually waits for the answer. The second person is Riley. Riley disappears for 4 days, returns at 1:13 in the morning, and sends one message. Hey, that is it. 3 letters, no punctuation, barely a complete human interaction. And Alex's brain reacts like Riley just arrived on a white horse carrying the cure for sadness. Meanwhile, Jamie sends, I made dinner. Do you want to come over? And Alex thinks, I don't know. Something is missing. Yes. The missing thing is unnecessary panic. So why can the person who gives you the least attention become the person you think about the most? Why does consistent affection sometimes feel ordinary, while one random message from someone confusing feels like a religious experience? Because you may not be addicted to the person.
You may be addicted to the uncertainty. Your brain does not automatically chase what is healthy. Sometimes it chases what feels familiar. If closeness has often come with tension, mixed signals, criticism, or the feeling that affection must be earned, your nervous system can learn a very strange translation. Waiting means love. Anxiety means chemistry. Relief means connection. This does not mean your childhood has permanently programmed your dating life like an evil factory setting. People change. Patterns change. Therapy exists. Self-awareness exists. Blocking also exists. But attachment research suggests that people with greater attachment insecurity may become especially sensitive to signs of rejection, distance, and possible loss. So when a calm person says, I like you, I'll call tomorrow, your brain might say, tomorrow? At a specified time? With emotional clarity? Suspicious. But when another person says, I'm not ready for a relationship, and then becomes jealous when you speak to anybody else, your brain says, finally, a puzzle.
And the puzzle starts feeling important because it never gets solved. This brings us to the most important idea in this video, intermittent reinforcement. That sounds like something your internet company does, but it is actually a learning pattern. It means receiving a reward inconsistently and unpredictably. Imagine a button. Every time you press the button, you receive a piece of chocolate. Press, chocolate. Press, chocolate. After a while, it becomes predictable. You understand the system. Now change the machine. You press the button, nothing. You press again, still nothing. You press it another 10 times, nothing. Then suddenly, chocolate. Your brain does not calmly say, this machine appears to have poor customer service. It says, wait, it worked. Press it again. Unpredictable rewards can make reward-seeking behavior extremely persistent. It is one reason gambling systems are so difficult to walk away from. The next reward could always arrive on the next attempt, and some relationships, accidentally or deliberately, operate like emotional slot machines. Attention, silence. Affection, confusion. One heart emoji. 3 business days of psychological winter. Then suddenly, I miss you. Jackpot. One completely normal message now feels more powerful than an entire week of consistent kindness because it arrived after deprivation. The message was not objectively better. You were emotionally hungry.
And hunger has terrible taste in both restaurants and relationships. Now, important warning. Not every inconsistent person is secretly operating a laboratory. People get busy. People communicate badly. People panic. People have jobs, families, university exams, and phones that apparently become invisible for 72 hours. One late reply does not automatically make somebody toxic. The real question is whether the relationship repeatedly creates anxiety, briefly removes that anxiety, and then teaches you to call the relief love. Because relief can feel extremely intense. But relief is not the same thing as safety. If somebody repeatedly steps on your foot, the moment they stop will feel wonderful. That does not make them a podiatrist. This can also explain why a healthy relationship initially feels boring to someone who is accustomed to emotional chaos. A stable person is predictable. They say what they mean. Their personality does not completely change because the moon entered a new Wi-Fi network. They do not offer affection as a limited seasonal product. And your nervous system may not know what to do with that piece. There is no emergency, no investigation, no group chat containing 17 screenshots, no friend zooming into a message and saying, look,
He used a period instead of an exclamation mark. He hates you. There is just peace. And when your body has learned to associate intensity with connection, peace can feel like a lack of chemistry. But calm is not always boredom. Sometimes calm is what attraction feels like when nobody is actively destroying your sleep schedule. There is another trap: investment. The more time and effort you spend trying to win someone over, the more important winning can start to feel. You have analyzed their messages, changed your behavior, memorized when they normally appear online, watched 4 videos titled "What Emotionally Unavailable People Secretly Want." You even consulted a friend who has never had a successful relationship but speaks with the confidence of a licensed psychologist. At some point, leaving does not only mean losing the person, it also means admitting that your investigation produced no results. So your brain says, we cannot quit now. We have already spent 8 months interpreting the word K. That is not necessarily love. Sometimes it is emotional sunk cost wearing perfume. So how can you tell whether you are attached to the person or attached to the cycle? Here are 5 clues. 1. When they contact you, you feel more relief than happiness. 2. You spend more time decoding the relationship than enjoying it. 3. Your self-worth changes depending on whether their name appears on your phone. 4. Consistency makes you suspicious, but distance makes you obsessed. 5.
You are deeply in love with who they could become while regularly being hurt by who they currently are. These are not diagnoses. They are questions. A difficult week does not automatically make a relationship toxic, and a complicated person is not automatically a villain. But patterns matter. A healthy relationship is not perfect. It can include conflict, frustration, awkward conversations, and at least one argument about where to eat. The difference is that healthy conflict generally moves toward clarity. Unhealthy conflict keeps you in permanent confusion. So what should you do when you recognize yourself in this? First, stop judging the relationship only by its best moments. Anybody can behave wonderfully for 40 minutes. Even a mosquito eventually leaves. Look at the complete pattern. How do you feel during most of the week? Not only during the apology, not during the dramatic reunion, not during the midnight phone call, and not during the 2-day period when they suddenly transform into the person you were promised in the trailer. Second, replace this question. How intense is this relationship? With better questions. Is this person predictable? Can I depend on them? Do I trust what they say? Can I express a need without being punished? Do I feel respected? Can I remain myself around them? Notice how none of those questions asks, did this person make me stare at the ceiling until 4 in the morning? Third, create enough distance to see the pattern clearly. That may mean muting notifications, reducing contact, writing down what actually happened, or asking somebody you trust what they are observing. Because memory becomes extremely creative when you miss someone. Your brain suddenly releases the romantic director's cut, the one beautiful date, the sincere apology, the one time they said, I've never felt this way before, and it quietly deletes the other footage where you spent 6 months feeling like an unpaid detective. If a relationship includes threats, control, humiliation, violence, or fear, this is bigger than a funny psychology video. Speak to someone you trust or a qualified local support service, and prioritize your safety. Finally, learn the difference between craving and compatibility. Craving says, I need this person to choose me so I can finally relax. Compatibility says, I like who I am when we are together. Craving is loud. Compatibility is often quieter. Craving keeps asking, what will happen next? Compatibility allows you to continue living your life between messages. So no, you are not stupid because you became attached to someone inconsistent. Your brain is doing what brains do. Learning patterns, seeking rewards, trying to resolve uncertainty, and occasionally turning one heart emoji into a national holiday. But understanding the mechanism gives you a choice. The next time somebody gives you one crumb of affection after a week of confusion, pause before calling it destiny. Maybe it is not a sign from the universe. Maybe it is simply the button dispensing one pellet, and you are not a laboratory rat. You have rent, opinions, and access to the block feature. Love should not feel like checking a delivery application for a package that repeatedly insults you. Healthy love may feel less dramatic. It may not provide a new plot twist every Thursday, but it gives you something toxic intensity cannot. Enough peace to remain yourself. And if peace feels unfamiliar, that does not mean it is empty. It may simply mean your nervous system is finally learning a new definition of love.